Hi, and welcome to episode 16 of Pilates Flows at Atlantis, a series where I will demonstrate and give you the tools to do the sequences I post on Instagram. Now let's get started. Alright, so in today's episode we'll be doing an advanced pike to push-up flow that I did a few weeks ago. Now in that flow we did three different variations. We started with our most basic, just pike to push-up variation. Then we added a single leg variation of it, and then to the single leg we added a long stretch variation. So let's get the reformer set up. Lower the foot bar to its lowest position. Then get onto the reformer with your hands on the deck, your knees at the bottom of the carriage. Take all the springs off. For the first variation, carriage out into your plank. From here, lift your hips up towards the ceiling, bringing the carriage down to the bumper, coming into your pike, before carefully carriaging back out into your plank. Then lower your chest towards the deck, coming into your push-up. Remember to go slow, and if you need to modify, you could put on either one blue or one yellow spring. For our second variation, we'll again carriage out into your plank and then lift one leg. This time, as you come into your pike, draw your lifted knee towards your chest, crunching into your abdominals, before carefully carriaging back out into a single leg plank. Then lower your chest towards the deck, coming into your push-up. For our last variation, we'll be adding on a long stretch. Again, start in your plank with one leg lifted. Lift your hips up to the ceiling, coming into your pike as you draw your lifted knee to your chest, crunching into your abdominals. Carriage back out into your single leg plank. Then from there, carriage out from the shoulders as far as you can, then bring the shoulders back over your wrist before lowering your chest into your push-up. Remember to keep your abdominals tight. Alright, and that is it for today's episode. Now remember, in that first pike to push-up variation we got onto the reformer with our hands on the deck, our knees at the bottom edge of the carriage, and our toes curled under. Then we carriaged out into our plank before coming into our pike. We brought that carriage back down to the bumpers as we lifted our hips as high as we could, coming into as high a pike as possible before carefully releasing back out into that plank. Then from there, we bent our elbows, dropping our chest towards that deck, coming into our push-up, and then pressing back up, coming into your plank. Then for our second variation, we did the single leg version. So we did the same thing, this time with one leg lifted, and as we came into our pike, we brought our lifted knee towards our chest, crunching into our abdominals, before extending back out into our plank, keeping that leg lifted the entire time. We dropped our chest again, coming into our push-up. Then for our third variation, we added on the long stretch. So again, we brought our hips up to the ceiling, brought our knee towards our chest, coming into that single leg pike before carriaging back out into our single leg plank. From there, we did our long stretch. So from the shoulder joint, we carriage out as much as you could and then brought your shoulders back over your wrist before lowering our chest into our push-up and then coming back up. Now that is it for today. Remember, all these moves can be done in their full variation on no spring, or you could modify by adding a blue spring or a yellow spring if you have it. If you liked this video or if you learned something, please leave me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next time.